Her dumb ass is paying for Don's family's light bills and grocery bills. And then she bought his ass a sports car. And when she went to go visit him out on tour with the Michael Jackson, another bitch pick up the phone and said, "Hello, Barbara. This is Sharon." Look, forgive me that I'm not dressed up in front of the camera. Forgive me. I'm tired. I had a 4-day work week, plus on top of that, all my self-employment tasks that I had to take care of, including, packing and shipping things for uptopbeauty.com and reading and editing the current book that we're on right now. Now, don't forget, guys, it's very important for us that we promote our book club. So please remember to go to uptopbeauty.com and grab our tote, because we've been reading with Uptown Nero. Serious Slamming, Richard tried to take the Pointer Sisters into a harder electronic funk sound akin to the Cameo / SOS Band / Gap Band hits of the period. My recollection that the sessions were uninspired. The tunes were tuneless and the lyrics lame. When I listened to the album today, we were so lost. He Turned Me Out was the first single and the opening theme to the movie Action Jackson, starring Carl Weathers. Ooh, that's my mama's man, baby. Vanity, Sharon Stone, and Craig T. Nelson. Carl was such a gentleman, and not at all what I thought he'd be. The cocky Apollo Creed. He was very nice, very sweet, and a wonderful man. Now that's the man you should take down, Miss Ruthie. That's the man that you should do the booty with, not all these other motherfuckers. Not Mr. Shark with the tail. Be a tail, and sometimes they'd be plaited, and they would plait that thing, and it'd be hanging as long as your ass. Oh my goodness, could you imagine sleeping with a man who had a tail? Oh, and you kept accidentally snagging it. After the session of Neutron Dance in Beverly Hills Cop, we were invited to contribute to the soundtrack of the movie's sequel. Be There was actually produced by 80s hitmaker Narada Michael Walden. Fresh from hits with Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and Starship, he helped kickstart Whitney Houston's career with How Will I Know, and practically revived Aretha Franklin's with Freeway. Be a vision in white. Hey, how'd you get your pants so tight? Hey, don't know what you're doing, but you must be living right. Hey. Okay, pause, Miss Ruthie. You tripping. Cause that Mother Hunchy jump to it by Luther Vandross. That motherfucker was the cranker. I'm not discounting what is this, Freeway of Love, but that jump to it, baby. Narada is a special human being and artist. He is extremely spiritual, kind, and sensitive. Our industry only benefits with people like Narada. Be There was a great experience, and the song was included on the Beverly Hills Cop 2 soundtrack, as well as Serious Slamming. Since this was our last album for RCA, we knew they wouldn't invest much time, money, and effort into promoting it. It showed. Serious Slamming tanked at number 152 on the Billboard 200 and failed to make any entry on Billboard's R&B album chart. It was our worst outing since 1977's Having a Party. But the Ruth Pointer teeter-totter, career up, personal life down, was about to go into its uncanny flip mode again. even though I now had my weight under control without the assistance of booger sugar. I still had eating and body image issues. Sobriety, stability, and love, mature love, I should say, suited me well. I clung to all three with all my might. My relationship with Mike blossomed, and we ended each date with a heartfelt conversation in the driveway. After months of romantic dating, Mike proposed. Of course, I was thrilled, but my initial response was to ask, "Are you sure about this? I have quite a complicated history that you may not want to be associated with." Miss Ruth, I applaud the fact that she came to the man and was like, "Listen, I got to check it past. All right. I didn't sleep with pipeheads. I was even a pipehead myself. Look, you about to be number 4. All right. I get ninjas. Okay. I do. And I, have a propensity to marry him and then wake up the next day and be like, I don't like you no more. Okay. I mean, I respect it. Giving a person the warning, because she's done that to 3 other men. Because notice, she married these men, but she also divorced those 3 other men. I don't like you no more. I don't want to be with you no more, sir. Sorry about that. It's okay. Now, Dennis Edwards, I think that was hard for her to leave him. I really do. Even though she like, oh, that's my friend, girl. Whatever. Here, who you used to be or what you've done in the past, he said. All I know is I love who you are right now, and I'm willing to take the risk. I shed many tears, but they were tears of joy. Finally, a man who accepted me just for me. It took a lot of courage on his part because I came with serious baggage, including plenty of family drama in which he was bound to get involved. Right Rhythm, our 14th studio album, was released in June 1990 by Motown Records. I do remember that one critic wrote the album had substandard songs, only routine production and arrangements, and didn't sound very inspired on any number. I can't find any fault with that statement. Right Rhythm was rushed to market without much forethought. The only thing I liked about the album was its cover, but that didn't sell records. It helps sometimes, but not in this case. It didn't really matter. Motown was in a constant state of turmoil at that time and had revolving doors of executives, beginning with Gerald Busby, Gordy's successor. Motown's product did not receive adequate attention or promotion. In 1991, Busby sued MCA to have its distribution deal with the company terminated, which would explain why Right Rhythm died so quickly. Whatever attention the album received was drummed up by the Pointer Sisters. I wish everyone could be as happy as I was then, especially my baby sister June. For some time, she and Bill Whitmore had been unhappy, and for very good reason. Bill was the living, breathing definition of a shithead. During their sham of a marriage, he went out of his way to destroy my sister's already fragile ego, not only by having numerous affairs, but also by setting up several mistresses in apartments and buying them cars, property, jewelry, clothes, and fancy dinners, all on June's dime. I can't remember exactly which dude said this, but it's a couple of things that men do to pick at a woman, to control her. The first thing they do is love bomb. The next thing is for them to, just pick at your self-esteem. Let me give you this one time. So the guy was so dirty that he had talked to women before while we were out on dates. My nerves were so bad that I would just literally start crying out in public because I was so confused. I was so in my mind like, I don't want to jump out there and embarrass myself, but is he trying to talk to that girl behind the popcorn stand? So I was so messed up. And when Ruth talks about what June's husband did to her, I can relate, because the dude didn't pick on your head so much that you think your worth is equated to the man's affirmation. So you don't really want to let the man go, because in your mind he's the one that took you down, and he's going to be the same one that builds you up. So you're constantly trying to seek approval from this man, and while you're doing it, you're getting shitted on. And don't forget, June is also dealing with addiction, drug addiction, and mental health issues by having numerous affairs, but also by setting up several mistresses in apartments and buying them cars, property, jewelry, clothes, and fancy dinners, all on June's dime. And the worthless son of a bitch wasn't even secretive about it. It was all pretty much done out in the open and right in June's face, including a child born out of wedlock. I wish that was the worst of it, but as her manager, Bill took it upon himself to work on their taxes and got them in hot water with the Internal Revenue Service. They came after the Whitmores with a vengeance, and later it came out that he had hidden money in several offshore accounts. Thanks to him, June had been bled dry. Unfortunately, my sister was in the throes of addiction and was ripe for the taking. She was a victim of Whitmore's blatant manipulation and control for many years, and blissing out on pills, alcohol, and booger sugar was a lot easier for her than dealing with reality. When June initiated divorce proceedings, my mom, Anita, and I almost literally had to drag her to the courthouse in downtown LA because she was so tuned out. If not for us, she probably wouldn't have dealt with the situation at all. June ended up shedding Bill, but it cost her dearly. He had the gall to ask for lifetime alimony to the tune of almost $4,250 a month, and got it. Damn. Well, we know she ain't had Wendy Williams' lawyer. I'll move forward. Then the judge ordered June to pay his legal fees. When sober enough to understand what happened, June thought she had been through hell. In fact, she had only just arrived at the outskirts. After our honeymoon in Hawaii, it was business as usual for the Pointer Sisters. With Marie Osmond and Jillian and baseball great Johnny Bench, we joined Bob and Dolores Hope in December 1990 to entertain U.S. military troops in Persian Gulf during Operation Desert Storm. When we returned from the Middle East, it seemed our career fortunes had taken a turn for the better. Our manager, Sandy Gallen, had just taken on Michael Jackson as a client. Michael had just signed a $65 million deal, a record breaking back then, with Sony. His album Dangerous placed him firmly back on the charts, and he was riding high once again. I was happy for Michael, whom I had briefly met during the We Are the World session, and with whom I subsequently had a nice visit during the Bad Tour when Don Boyette served as his bassist. That was the one who gooped out her money. Her dumb ass is paying for Don's family's light bills and grocery bills. And then she bought his ass a sports car. And when she went to go visit him out on tour with the Michael Jackson, another bitch picked up the phone and said, "Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley." Michael was very childlike and inquisitive and exuded a sincere kindness. "You're Ruth, the one with the deep voice?" he asked in that trademark gentle tone. "Yeah, that's me," I smiled. "The one with the deep voice." "I love your voice," he said. "I think you have the most unique voice out of all of the sisters." Michael was very complimentary of the Pointer Sisters' music and told me which of our songs were his favorites. He knew just about our entire catalog, including the B-sides and dance remixes. He had that kind of mind and range of interest. Being king of pop also meant knowing what others were doing. As he was talking, Michael was chugging on an Ensure nutritional drink. He must have noticed me staring because he addressed it. It's hard for me to keep weight on, so I have to drink these, he said. He had endured serious weight loss in the early 1980s and now was careful about what he put in his body. He was thin, but not alarmingly so. Our visit was brief, but memorable. He was a sweet man and, of course, one of the great entertainers of our time. I'd never seen a performer work so hard. That boy really worked, and he left his guts on the stage every time. Because our agent, Sandy Gallen, was now linked to Michael as well as to Cher, Neil Diamond, Mariah Carey, Barbra Streisand, and Dolly Parton. That stamped him as a real go-to guy in the business. It was right about then that Charles Koppelman, one of the principal owners of CBK Records, called Sandy to tender a recording contract to the Pointer Sisters.